Okay, so let's take a look at some of the plotting functions in ggplot package. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Studio. Right now, once we do that, we will try and call for library ggplot2. Right, so it had some of the functions that allow you to plot various charts and curves. So what we can do is take a look at few of them. So first thing, we'll go to tools, then install package, and here I will choose the package ggplot2. Right, this package and few other would be something you will be using for various types of plots in R. Right, so ggplot is pretty common, so we will use that package to discuss the various plotting and chart functions. Right, so once installed, as you can see, it is in the process of installation. What I can do is I can create a script to further show you how these functions work. Right, so let's create our script and then call for library ggplot2. Right, then the next thing is calling for ggplot function, and then we will try and use something like, let's say, data for xlim, and also the important function that I wish to discuss here is the geom function. Right, so geom function, and here let's say I set function set to cos. So if we run this, what it will do is it will create a plot based on this geom function using cos value. Right, so let's run this. Right, so x must be 2 element vector. So sorry, turns out I didn't use comma, instead I used dot. Right, so here we have. Now here you see this particular curve is from our cos function, and that's possible because of geom underscore function that most of the time you will use to plot something. Right, so based on your data you will be using this function a lot. So if you want to manipulate this particular function, what you can do, you can use color. Right, so color, you can, let's see if I have this particular function, otherwise I will have to use color. Right, so I can use color equals to, let's say, red. Right, then I will have to use comma. Every time I use some parameter I will have to use comma. Then line width set to 1, then line type set to 1. Right, and if I run this particular line, it should show me something. However, there are warning messages regarding line width. Right, so the issue was regarding line type and LWD. Right, so LWD is now being depreciated and soon they will be forcing line width as full. Right, so previously it was L type which was depreciating, now it's LWD. Right, now here only change we made is the color of this curve along with line width and line type as additional update. Right, so that's regarding one of the geom functions customization. Right, now there is one more thing. Now there is a next function that I can use is ggplot, and then I will have to append few more functions. So xlim, let's set again 82025. Last time I made a mistake and used dot instead of comma. Now let's also add stat underscore function, right? Within stat function I can pass on function cos and then geom underscore equals to point, right? So hopefully everything is correct. I can go and run this, and here you see the stat function generating this particular curve with the help of points, right? I can also change few things by directly using geom function instead of stat function. Can simply, let's say, replace this geom underscore function, and here I can use function set to Basel G, right? So there are values for Basel functions I, J, K and Y. So based on that you can choose, let's say for example I choose J, right? So I can simply use comma and then I can give it arguments list and then new set to 2, right? So that now if we run this, and here we have our curve, right? So here what we are doing is we are using the function where additional arguments can be passed, right? So Basel function Basel J requires argument number or new set which we set to 2, right? Now the thing is, notice that this may be different for some of the charts. So in that case what we can do is we can use the value of n, right? And also slim to 0 to 15. Then I can also use n set to something like bigger value 400 or so, right? So that would be a good thing to try out. We are using multiple points here, so number of points here increase to 400 and that reflects in our chart, right? Now we haven't tried overlay part, right? So we can also take a look at overlay, right? So to do overlay what we can do, can remove this for now and use set seed and use set seed for 1, right? Now next thing we need to create a data frame. So data dot frame, and we'll be passing x set equals to x equals to r norm, right? So r norm, and here we pass anything between 200 300, that should suffice, right? Now also we take a look at ggplot, then data frame, then let's say a is set to x, right? And then we will basically be concatenating, sorry, we will be concatenating this function with density function. So geom density, right? We are not going to pass anything, again concatenate, then geom underscore function, right? Here however I'm going to use function for denorm, right? And then I will be using color, right? Here I can use color something like red, right? So that should do. Now let's run this from start. So we have ggplot2, we set the seed, then we have data frame that again now view, right? So here we have value for x and total I have like 200 rows, right? The next is ggplot function, run this and we have our new chart which is overlay over existing plot, right? So we are adding a function over our existing geom function and that gives us this distribution, right? and with the sample of around 200. So you can experiment with that sample. So 200, 300 should be good enough for you to view this example. Right, now we can extend this further with adding more functions, but I think this is good enough for you to start with. So you can take a look at these some of the examples for checking out some drawing functions in ggplot.